My name is Brittany Oliver. In this documentary, I'm going to discuss the issue of volunteer retention. 3 years ago, I began volunteering with a nonprofit ministry in Southeast Raleigh called Neighbor to Neighbor. I have always had a passion for working with at-risk youth and low-income families, but could never find a way to couple it with sport. While volunteering with Neighbor to Neighbor, I realized that nonprofit recreation work is what I wanted to do. Throughout this transforming experience, I learned just how important volunteers are, and more importantly, how volunteer retention can make or break an organization.
Research shows that the average American spends 3.6 hours per week volunteering. Out of the 83.9 million Americans who volunteer, 20% of them are volunteering in sport and recreation. The typical sport volunteer is between the age of 35 to 44 years old, male, employed full-time, and gets involved because of their children. More importantly, 81% of nonprofits use volunteers. Volunteers are very essential to keeping nonprofits afloat. The estimated economic worth of volunteers is $50 billion, which is about 20% of the overall value of the sport industry. It is clear that nonprofit sport organizations would have difficulty serving without labor contributions from volunteers. Another reason why volunteers are so important is that we are in an era of governmental budget cuts, along with an increased need in human services. Volunteers fulfill this human service need without putting financial burdens on the organization. Lastly, volunteers enhance the quality of services within an organization. When volunteers are managed successfully, the result is a continuity of interpersonal relationships between providers and clients. While the number of nonprofits and demand for volunteers are growing, there are many factors that work against fulfilling this demand. First, there is a decrease in discretionary time. This is mainly due to jobs, household responsibilities, and career development. Another barrier is simply time spent working. More citizens have increased their weekly workload or simply taken on additional jobs. To add to the decline, less seniors are participating as volunteers. This is surprising, seeing as older adults usually view volunteering as a positive leisure activity. In order to retain volunteers, it is imperative that managers understand the key factors that influence a volunteer's initial decision to participate and come back. The factors include person task fit, person organization fit, managerial treatment, motivation, and enjoyment. Person task fit means that the individual is capable of fulfilling the demands of the assigned task. Does he or she possess the knowledge, skills, and abilities to be successful at that task? Person organization fit is whether the individual's personal values and beliefs are in line with the organization's mission and values. Managerial treatment is the combination of defining jobs, facilitating work accomplishments, and recognition of performance. Volunteers tend to feel more appreciated if managers are communicating well and make a clear effort to recognize their accomplishment. Lastly, motivation and enjoyment have a huge effect on involvement. Managers need to know what motivates their volunteers, whether it be helping others, being devoted to a cause, social advancement, or simply knowing someone who is or was involved. As far as enjoyment, it is a known fact that people love to have fun, and that in itself will increase the chances of someone participating in the future. There are many practices that will improve volunteer retention within an organization. Orientation, training, and developmental opportunities will give a greater understanding of why each volunteer is important. It will also prepare them for their assigned tasks. Acknowledgement and rewards are ways to show volunteers that they are appreciated and cared for. As far as increasing enjoyment, try to make the overall experience exciting, fun, and eliminate all unnecessary stresses. Lastly, managers should make sure that the assigned tasks are compatible with the individual and that the task satisfies the motives of the individual. So, if volunteers are motivated by helping others, assign them to areas that will fulfill this desire.
I hope this documentary has better informed you about the importance of volunteer retention, the factors that affect it, and how to improve retention rates. An anonymous author once said, "Volunteers aren't paid, not because they are worthless, but because they are priceless." Thank you.
There's a place in your heart, and I know that it is love, and this place is much brighter than tomorrow. And if you really try